Let's go on to our last game. This is
Sure.
called Rapid Fire, self-explanatory.
Right.
Um, how many all-nighters did you pull in your first year of 3-1 farms?
I am an insomniac. I
So,
cannot sleep. It's very hard for me to sleep, to shut the brain down. So I would say 50% of the year.
wow.
For sure. 50% of
But
the
I get that. Even for me, it's very tough for me to.
like even at farm, when after 8 all you can hear is the clock ticking and some crickets just like doing their sound, and you still can't.
Yeah, I would assume you are having like the best night's sleep on a farm with no like disturbance or anything. But
Yeah.
no.
No, because you can't shut the brain off. You're like constantly on from 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. And yeah, so I need to do better. It's nothing about the farm.
We already answered this next one. How many days of leave have you taken in the last year?
Well, under 50 in 3 years. So
Wow. What is the scrappiest thing that you have done to build your business?
I've sifted the flour,
Nice.
packed the flour, sat on the floor, done end to end. Like, gone to the chucky, got it milled, sifted myself, packed it, went to DTDC's office, everything end to end. I have
Down
done
to the
it.
courier.
Down to the
Nice,
courier,
Nice.
ensuring tracking it for them, sending them. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
What is your favorite 3-1 Farms product?
There could be a few, but I really love rye, specifically because it's an openly pollinated crop. So when it is in the fields, the flowers are literally hanging out from the head or the stalk, and it invites so many pollinators. You have bees, you have ladybugs, you have butterflies, you have those small snails, slugs moving up. It's the most beautiful
Nice.
sight. So that's why I love it, because it sort of does a lot for the farm health. And wheat, the rye really doesn't need much of an input. The roots go really deep, and the plant goes 6 feet up high, very thin stalks. So it's a sight. It's a sight. And it's also that scrappy story of growing a seed from 1 kg. I have many of those. I've smuggled so much.
Super cool. What is your favorite 3-1 Farms partnership till now?
Partnership till now, I would say, if it's about favorite, of course it's a given that it's Subco, but I think Chef Alex is my favorite person in the world. He is the favorite person in the world. Like, he would call and he would be like, how are you? And not in the going, like, it's not for the past. It'll be like, how are you? So you have to really tell, how are you? Right? And then
And that's when you first, that's like you don't ask yourself also. Like,
Yeah.
you don't generally ask yourself, oh, how am I doing? But
Yeah,
like,
he
Alex
would
calls you and you're like,
genuinely want to know. So you gotta take 5 to 7 minutes out and tell what's going on and what you're doing, what you're not doing, and what's bothering you. And yeah, and then we talk about work a little bit.
that's very sweet.
Yeah.
What has been your proudest moment with 3-1 Farms?
Till now, I think recently I was invited by the university, where they awarded 10 farmers from the state who were improving the agricultural biodiversity, crop diversification. And one, I was the only girl, I was the only person under 30, and all other farmers who came, they had like white beards. So
Wow.
it was so beautiful that, all right, like, something has happened in these 3 years when you've done something. And now, like, these farmers who look at you as their daughter or as their granddaughter, and how things could be different, and they're always like, let us know if we can grow something for you. So currently, I can happily say that I can make 5 calls and there'll be 500 farmers ready to grow anything that I want them to grow in Punjab, like,
That's
legibly.
crazy.
So it was a beautiful experience.
I
Very
feel like
beautiful.
I know the answer to this, but did you ever question whether it was worth it?
Oh, I did.
Yeah?
I did. Because most of the time, like, in the beginning, it did feel like you're shouting these things in a silo. You're the only one in a lot of ways. And you're like, because everything, a lot of it, I think, comes down for people to very transactional terms as well. Oh, but I'm getting my maida at 40. Why should it be 50? Well, we'd had 2 hours conversation about it. So those are, and not that it's going to impact their bottom line or anything like that. Per product, change, like just in purely economic terms, is not something that they can pass on. Is not something that would really change their unit economics. But still, people have like, I was like, why don't you get it? It's literally for everyone. I'm not doing it just because, like, what? If I had to make money, I wouldn't be in agriculture. I'd rather, be some in consulting business or whatever, things like that. So you really have to look at the bigger picture as opposed to a tail or a limb of the elephant. And that's where I think the biggest challenge is, because they're ready to pay what, $350 a kg for a pizza flour from Italy. And then they're questioning something that we do, let's say 150 rupee a kg, that why? I'm like, if this is maida, then that's also maida. If you can tell me the difference, then yeah, for sure. But yeah, they can't. So,
What is the weirdest place from where you worked?
I would say washroom. So
That's
yeah,
classic,
but
yeah.
but under the cot, under the cot, very tiny corners of the house were like, don't bother. Like right now, because I mean, what has really worked in some way is that, I stayed 9 to 10 years in Delhi, and you have a certain lifestyle, and now after this 13-15 years of sort of a gap, you go back to the farm, and it's almost like a cultural shock. You went because it was pandemic, but then what you wear, where you go, like there's permission to be taken, somebody to accompany you.
Yeah.
So that was like a bit of a shock, not a bit but quite a bit. And then it's really, I think, but then what really happened, that because it was so isolating, I had nothing else to do but work. And no honking, nothing. You could work 16 hours a day and nobody to bother you. So that kind of focus, or just the, I would say, solitude that it allowed for, really, I think, helped me do the agriculture part. And then now it's like, okay, now I do believe that entrepreneurs are their biggest obstacles themselves, like their brain. And so it's like, I am my own obstacle. And what does 3-1 Farms need right now? And this needs me to be out and about. It doesn't need me to be at the farm now. So that's why now I'm here.
Fair enough. Have you ever felt like you let 3-1 Farms down?
Not really, but I always believe that I could have done certain things better, and with, like, I think it also just comes from a place where you have certain standards for yourself, and
Yeah.
then you impose those standards on everyone around you, right?
Yeah, that is a very tough trap for any entrepreneur. Like,
Yeah.
the reason why you're the business owner is because you do need to not see others from the same lens as you see yourself.
Yeah. So I think
Fair enough.
in those spaces, things have happened where the expectations, reality versus expectations, was a thing. So,
What is your biggest fear in general?
in general, it's a single statement, but dying a meaningless death. Like we all are dying, but just like
Yeah,
know.
makes sense. Would you ever retire?
100%. I think there are these phases and stages. I'm like, all right, when I'm probably going to be upwards of 45, I want to be a venture capitalist. But when I'm upwards of 60, I want to be an art director.
Oh, you have multiple
So retiring into another profession.
Yeah, I know a little bit of photography because my middle sister, she's a model. So I've literally done photography lying on the floor, getting the angles right. And yeah, and the youngest one, she studied philosophy. She works in AI and Web3. That's sort of an intersection. So there's a bit of that as well, that all right, maybe philosophy of technology or ethics of technology could be a good business to get in 10 years down the line. Not 10, but because this one's not getting over before 20. Another 2 decades, it sort of does need. But yeah.
All right. Which hobby of yours did your work kill?
I am able to read and write. I am that person who processes things by writing. So I'm a compulsive writer. But I could give a lot more time to reading across subjects. yeah, so reading is something
Right
that
now it's
does
just
take a hit.
research papers.
It's just research papers. Yeah. A little bit of book reading goes here and there, specifically because I just read nonfiction. So, yeah, that has
Alright.
taken a little bit.
So you prefer books over podcasts? That was our next question.
Yeah, because I'm that person who would scribble, make notes, emojis, fold papers, put some sticky notes. Like, this book was read. The book
Yeah,
knows.
you can tell from far that this book has been read. Okay.
Yeah, so
Fair enough. iPad or notebook?
notebook for sure. Yeah.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Because of insomnia, I'm a morning person, but I would work better at night. But I think after the farm happened, the 4 years, everything has changed. So my best schedule is sleeping by 11 and waking up at 6:30 situation. Otherwise, I was also the same person who would sleep by 2 p.m. and wake up 8:39 and yeah.
Okay.
Which is true for most people living in tier 1 or metro. Most, not all, but yeah.
What's your favorite social media?
Instagram. I think that shouldn't be a question.
Fair enough. So that concludes our rapid fire segment.